Samurais. Every weeb, hell, maybe everyone, dreamt of being a samurai just once, even if you or they were in elementary school. Speaking of weebs, ever wanted a game that reminded you of Samurai Champloo? Or Chip? Is that how you pronounce it? I think that's how you pronounce it. Hell, maybe even in VR? Well, in this video, we're diving into Samurai Slaughterhouse. Before we get any further into the video, if you liked the video at any point in time or just found it insightful, be sure to let me know by hitting that like button. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, well, do it. If you don't know what kind of content I create content just like this, as well as comedic content with other creators, or me being by my lonesome, being an absolute nut. You can also follow me on other platforms with the link tree down below. If you want to chat with my fellow souls and I, go to the Soul Chamber, my Discord server. As per usual, I want to cover the synopsis and some questions of the game, and all of this comes from the creator, Tab, himself. So let's start. The game of Samurai Slaughterhouse is that the player has their soul trapped inside of a giant mountain castle, and the player must fight and climb to the top to free their soul by defeating the demon that rules over the castle domain. As the samurai progresses through, other warriors who relate to the soul trapping will emerge, and the player can team up with them to overcome the castle together. Now, I asked Tab about their inspirations of the game, as it's unique in many categories. The answer was expected, yet not at the same time. The theme's biggest inspiration are from anime shows and films like Afro Samurai and the aforementioned Samurai Champloo, as well as samurai films like Seven Samurai and a hint of Kill Bill. However, this is not where the inspirations end, and this is also where the inspirations go out of my own sight. The gameplay is inspired from the AI from Halo Combat Evolved, the level design from Doom 2 with its open exploration of the castle, yet with the goals still needing to be achieved before progressing, and the combat system's biggest inspiration being Bushido Blade, for crucial and precise strikes when taking down your opponents. The development of the game started near the end of 2020 with a prototype of the initial concept, and fast forwarding to February of 2021, the prototype would close and the Samurai Slaughterhouse creation would begin. Speaking on its development, it then brought the question of the music, yet as I expected, once again, it was highly influenced from the soundtrack of the anime Samurai Champloo, with its hip-hop genre, or lo-fi, hip-hop lo-fi, that's pretty much it. It really made the anime stand out even further, and, well, he brought that into Samurai Slaughterhouse. But another influence is from the artist Pendulum, an Australian band which does drum and bass. After the music was brought to a close, I asked about the strange yet unique color palette of the game. As you can tell from the footage, it's not your typical VR game. Here's a direct quote from Tab himself. The game was actually originally going to be completely black and white in order to make it look like a manga. This worked at first, but I found there were a lot of things that didn't translate well without color. The thought of a manga themed game is actually quite intriguing, as it definitely has that feeling even with the light color being present. Yet I also understand why he didn't go with the full black and white, because he even stated this in the quote later on, that some colors just don't distinguish well on specific things, as is cherry blossom trees. Can't see those in black and white, hence the color. But either way, the concept is fairly unique and fairly interesting for its aesthetic. And before going any further, I want to state that there is no in-game scuff, because I know some of you enjoy my scuff, and that's it. There's no reason, just didn't do the scuff. No, let's jump straight to the review. Samurai Slaughterhouse is definitely an entertaining game. I have no idea how much progress I've made into the story or how Tab has created it, but wherever I've gone, I think I have enough to give a proper review. So you can tell that SSH, Samurai Slaughterhouse, is in early access. Despite the unique and wicked aesthetic, it's still a work in progress, and that's okay. I will review over the game in parts from gameplay, audio, and visuals, and maybe some other small aspects, but unlikely. The gameplay reminds me of your typical dungeon crawler, yet with most dungeon crawlers, it's a one-way track. However, with SSH, you're given multiple paths to choose from to get your loot. And speaking of loot, the backpack reminds me of The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, which is one of the best inventory designs in a VR game. So kudos to you, Tab. There's also characters to interact with, and it has a character design I wasn't expecting, especially when looking at the footage from the game on Twitter. I wasn't expecting a fantasy-esque theme to it as well, which was really nice to see. And you're able to get some of these allies, purchase items, and loot chests, and that are all interactive with your hands. The combat feels good, yet the only qualm I have will be discussed shortly in the audio section, and slightly here as well. The combat seems decent, yet there are definite kinks in the gameplay, which is expected from a game that's still in early access, and from his tweets, he is working on new things almost every time. Every Friday he updates. The kinks I mean are the sheathing and unsheathing of blades, traversing some of the rooms, some minor weight balances, but the most important of all to me was the hand positioning of the weapons being held, particularly with the index controllers. The hand placements felt a bit unnatural when holding particular weapons, and this also corresponded to the handling of the weapons as well. Yet after playing for a while, I got slightly used to it, yet I'm still trying to overcome that strange positioning still, regardless of how long I played it. Overall though, I was still satisfied with the gameplay. And now we head to the audio. The audio is great, yet it also still needs some TLC. The great part about the audio is honestly the music soundtrack. I am a sucker for anime, and Samurai Champloo is memorable to me, and this soundtrack has definitely made this experience more memorable with its lo-fi hip-hop and drum and bass soundtrack. It got me in the groove of trying to attack my opponents as well as enjoying it from walking alone, yet the portion that needs some TLC would be sound effects in my honest opinion. The indications of successful attacks with slashing and striking were very minor, and with haptics, they were nil, so kind of made it very hard to distinguish if I got an actual attack. But when it did occur, it was followed by the gory sound effect, yet I noticed when striking the enemy, they would get hurt, yet the enemy or the weapon would not produce a sound to indicate a successful strike. In most cases, it did happen sometimes, but in most cases it did not, which again would lead me to believe that I didn't get a successful hit in. Most of the other sound effects are fine as they are, but possibly a bit more would make that sound design pop even with this amazing soundtrack. And that's all I have to say about the audio, I think. Just sound effects, basically. Visually, the game has its own unique aesthetic, and that is a given. Originally, before playing the game, I thought the harsh whites would strain eyes rather quickly, yet it wasn't so bad actually when playing. The only thing that strained my eyes were the shading effects that would render not too far from the character, or you, the player, as if you are in your own bubble that creates shading for objects, if that makes any sense. I tend to focus on my surroundings and take in the sights a little too much, so I notice these things, and when noticing the shading of the objects basically pop into my view as I progress and scour through the rooms. Other than that, the unique visuals are actually eye-catching, and it definitely has that manga feel, and I didn't expect it to be that way initially when looking at the world, especially with the cell shading kind of view. It seemed to work really well. The aesthetic reminded me of two things, one of which I'm not a huge fan of, and the other I'm a major fan of. And you could probably guess when I say the two, Borderlands and manga. If you can't tell, I'm a giant weeb, so Borderlands is the one I hate, manga, love it. So I'm 100% for the visuals. Now, would I recommend this game? Yes, and definitely pulled me in, and I know that Tab has many other things in mind when this game comes to mind, as he's quite open to show what his future plans may entail, as well as how open he is on his Discord and so on. Despite being a solo developer, he has made considerable progress, and the performance of the game was actually really amazing for what it's giving you. There may be some bugs and kinks, but that is to be expected from a game that's in early access. As I said, it's an early access game. You're not going to get everything perfect. The game is fairly fun to play and has super chill vibes with its amazing soundtrack. I am truly excited to see where Tab takes this game, so I personally am going to remain a patron, and I'm going to keep playing this from time to time. So I might make more videos on it. Who knows? I hope you enjoyed the video as a whole. If you found it informative and insightful, be sure to like the video, and if it's up to your standards of content, consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting that bell to get more of my videos. If you want to support Tab in his journey for Samurai Slaughterhouse, go to his Patreon page and pledge to get early access to the game. You can also listen to his dope-ass soundtrack on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music. Speaking of the music in the background, that's from the game. Tab does intend to launch the game on side quests as well for you quest users, so be prepared for that. All of his links will be down below. You can also follow my socials via the link tree. It includes my Twitter, TikTok, and Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, I want to take a small portion of the video to thank my patrons. They gain a special role on my Discord that indicates them being the first patrons, which is limited to 10. So if you want them, there you go. You can support me there for as little $1, but don't forget that it's basically a tip jar with some extra benefits. Don't forget to join the Discord if you want to be up to date with my content or just chat with me and my fellow souls. And one last thing is to slaughter the samurai and keep your soul free.